Hi everybody, welcome back to this week's Chasing Psychological Safety video. This week we want to talk to you about what it means to take a really good look at both the organisation and at the team as to how they're doing in terms of engagement and in terms of team health, and a toe in the water, if you like, as to how you can start assessing that. And then we'll come on to what you can do about it later. So when you're looking now at the teams and at the organisation, what we're experiencing, it's February 2022, is that teams have obviously had the last 2 years. It's been a really tough ride. But what are we actually doing about that? And how are those teams doing in terms of their engagement? We can obviously look at the organisational level. It's a bigger mountain to move. It takes a lot longer to roll that stone and really get it moving. But that is one of the levels that we will need to start looking at. But if you can't get things moving at that level just yet, we do need you to start thinking about how you can assess what's happening at your team level. So turn towards your team or your teams, depending on what level you are in the organisation, and start looking at how they're doing, what level of engagement they've got, and what tools they've got. So what provision is there for those people to be able to fully engage, to be able to be part of their day-to-day work in a really, really committed and passionate way. It's almost as bad to not have anything, or we're actually saying it's worse to not take any action for your team than to just leave them for fear of doing some kind of damage or doing the wrong thing. That's what people often fear the most, that by taking a step, they'll do the wrong thing. Everything that we do with our teams and with our people has to be, to some extent, experimental. But as long as you commit and you communicate and you explain and you close that feedback loop continuously for people, you can build trust and you can build psychological safety in your teams over time by doing something for them that relates to the people work and to the human work that is as important as the delivery work.
There's a lot that can and should be done at the team level. And we are conscious that every time we talk to you, we have a get up and do something sort of message. And it's not fair. We all should live in organizations that worry their pretty heads with what it is that we need. But realistically, the reality of it is that we're not going to be there. Most places simply don't have the right focus, don't quite comprehend what they should be doing. Even if they don't, there's too much organizational politics to allow them to do it, too little budget, too little time, too little understanding of what's worthwhile and so on. So a lot of the human work and a lot of this human debt that we keep talking to you about just doesn't go anywhere, doesn't budge, doesn't move. If anything, we're adding to it every day after the pandemic with our different stances and policies and artificial processes for hybrid work. So what we're saying to you is we need your help again at the team level. So where we should start, I think, is first and foremost with discussing this definition of engagement. We've said this many times before. We'll tackle it again next week. We believe that engagement in its existing definition is no longer fit for purpose, to put it mildly. It's a definition that started being in a staple of the business vernacular 60, 70 years ago. It no longer serves us. It doesn't mean the same thing. This was before we had discussed the notions of impact and purpose and belonging and the emotional engagement that we should be able to measure when we talk about engagement. So before these notions appeared, we were talking about whether or not employees are satisfied, after which whether employees are engaged, and then eventually about the experience they're having. I don't believe that the umbrella term of employee experience is wrong whatsoever, except we seem to have executed on it weirdly. But the term of engagement, as we remember it, is wrong. We will tackle this properly next week. But what we would like you to do for now, and we have a very specific task, is before you consider your entire organization, before you look at are we in our organization truly engaged or not? Let me look at the last survey. Is instead take it to the team level, look around you and say, in my opinion, if these were my guys and I was running a startup, these 10 of them, this is how engaged they are, how much, and how would you define that in your head? How, if you were to ask yourself, are these people engaged with us or not? What would you look at? What were the elements that would convince you they are or they aren't engaged with both the work and the enterprise and yourselves as a team? So take an honest look, make some mental notes, and then let's discuss this properly next week, because going back to this definition is one of the central tenets of understanding what is the health of the team and how do we make sure we make more of it and focus it on psychological safety.
And as always, if you're really wanting to do that human work and go deeper with your people and get your team moving forward faster, do come and talk to us. We'd love to talk to you about building psychological safety in your team. If you can't, like we've said, at least start taking some of the practical steps that we offer on our videos, start taking some of those steps that are going to just ease the pressure on your team and give them that space to do some of the human work that is going to make their lives happier and healthier and them as a team more performant. So either way, thank you very much. See you again.
Thank you.